Okay, in this lesson, what we're going to do is look at doing a real-life mathematical survey using a technique called trigonometry. Now, we have in my case, a church that I want to measure how tall it is. Okay, I don't know how tall the church is. Using a right-angled triangle like this, we can do some clever maths that works out how tall the church is. But to do that, we need two pieces of information. We need to know how far away the base of the church is from the point of this triangle here, and that's the place where I'm going to be stood. And we also need to know the angle that we look at the top of the church with. Let me tell you how to go and find that information. First thing is to stand in a position, just like you see me doing here, stand in a position that has a good view of the object that you're measuring. So in my case, the church tower. Because it was the church tower, I went and stood in the graveyard on a nice obvious place. If I go to Google Earth now and have a look at the position I was in, I was actually there, stood right there on that cross, looking at the church tower there. Now, the first piece of information we need to know is what is the distance, and using the ruler tool on Google Earth, I worked out that is 42 meters. That's our first important piece of information. Now, that bit's quite easy, actually, as long as you can remember to go to a specific point and then measure it on Google Earth later on to find out how far that distance is. That's quite achievable. The next bit takes a little bit of technique. You can take your protractor and you're going to measure the angle. Now, I'm starting off here with a horizontal protractor. So the top of the protractor is in line with the horizon. It's at 0 degrees. Look how I'm holding the protractor, and notice that I'm still standing in the same position that we saw in the last picture. Can you see how I'm sort of aiming like it's a gun? I'm looking down the line of the protractor here. What I'm actually going to do is rotate this protractor from horizontal, from 0 degrees, up until I'm aiming at the top of the church tower in my case. This is my eye view, looking along the top of the protractor at the top of the church, just like you're aiming a gun, looking along the top. What that looks like, though, is this. Now, you see how it's changed? You've got a tilted protractor now looking up at the top of the tower. And what we need to find out is what is that angle there. So if we zoom in a little bit, here's a zoomed in picture so we can read numbers. This is it at exactly the same angle that it was to begin with. If I put a horizontal line, so a 0 degrees, if you like, line across, we can see that that is 18 degrees, and that is our second important piece of information. So we've got the church tower. We want to know how tall the church tower is. To do that, we use a right-angled triangle. That distance was 42 meters. We got that information from Google Earth. And this angle, using the protractor, is 18 degrees. Those are two important pieces of information that you will need, and you can do this for different points of the building. So you could, for instance, measure the peak of the roof of the building and the where the roof meets the wall, something like that. You can do it as many times as you like, but definitely do it at least for the tallest part of the building. Okay, thanks.